Do you often feel insecure or unsafe? Or you have a constant need to be close and attached to others? Or you may be experiencing immense fear of losing love and relationship? Or you need constant appreciation and approval from others? Or maybe you're experiencing jealousy when your partner is spending time with someone else? Or there might be constant worry about the future in relationship and your partner's feelings for you. When you are not together, you spend most of the time worrying about what they are doing and whether they still love you. Or you might be experiencing need of reassurance and support from your partner. Or you might be regularly asking him, do you love me? Am I bothering you? Do you really want to spend time with me? How do I look? You don't want to break up, do you? We all do depend on each other to some level. But when it comes to completely relying on your partner or family, we might talk about emotional dependency. Emotional dependency is a state of mind when a person seeks constant love and security from their loved ones. This person is emotionally needy and wants a constant support and care from others. This person also relies on others to feel happy and acceptable. The person suffers from extreme fear and insecurity. They also feel that their existence will be in danger if they will have to live without their loved ones. Emotional dependency is harmful too. You may become emotionally dependent on a family member, in a romantic relationship, with a spouse, or with your social environment. So, dependency on a family member. Children who grow up under the guidance of their overprotective parents usually become emotionally dependent. These kids are anxious and have a fear of losing parental love if they do not listen to them. They often do not feel satisfied with their own abilities once they grow up. They suffer from a lack of happiness and personal satisfaction. Their inner happiness and self-worth are always dependent on others. They suffer from poor self-esteem and are incapable of solving life's problems on their own. Now let's look at dependency on a spouse. This type of dependency is the most common one. It can do far-reaching damage and harm in couple relationships. This type of dependency, one spouse always feels lonely, helpless, and anxious if left alone. Here one spouse's worth and well-being are dependent on the other one. The dependent spouse feels that their life moves around their partner. Nobody else can give them the same level of comfort as their spouse. They have fears of losing their partner. They suffer from anxiety, depression, and anger if they do not see their partner around. And the last dependency, which is dependency on the social environment. People suffer from a low of self-worth and they cannot consider themselves good enough in social setups. The dependent person seeks constant appreciation from others from his or her actions. They become dependent on others and fail to rely on themselves. They review themselves based on the opinions given by others. All the time they feel rejected and abandoned in social circles. So what are the causes of emotional dependency? There are various causes of emotional dependency. It might be poor self-esteem since childhood. Children who had a history of disturbing childhood often grow up as dependent adults. They were never trusted by their parents and they grew up in homes where independence was never allowed. These children were maybe criticized by their parents and never got the deserved appreciation. They didn't feel loved at home. Parents kept them under control. Another cause might be child abuse. Adults who had suffered abuse as children can become emotionally dependent. Physical and sexual abuse is harmful and influences the proper development of the child. These children usually develop poor self-confidence and feelings of inadequacy. They feel guilty and shameful most of the times. These unhealthy feelings force them to become weak within themselves. They tend to seek approval from others to consider themselves as good. So, what might be the consequences of emotional dependency? There are multiple negative effects of emotional dependency. The dependent person constantly searches for a support base to lean on. They do not feel equal to others. There is a feeling of self-doubt and inadequacy. Also, anxiety and stress can bring in loss in self-esteem. They remain overwhelmed with thoughts of poor self-worth. This person has a poor self-image and has unsuccessful relationships. Loving is all about sharing and caring. Emotional dependency is one-sided and does not include the sharing of feelings between two persons. There is a tendency to control the partner and force them to show love and concern. In emotional dependency, you start loving someone with a need. The need forces you to make the relationship clingy, and the other partner is forced to love you. You might usually feel inadequate and want to fill yourself with love and affection from your partner. Or the person like this might become desperate to get the support. But this actually is an unhealthy way of dealing with your own emotions. Emotionally dependent adults need love rather than share it with their partner. The adult loving behaves like a child and seeks continuous love and approval from others. This happens as the dependent person feels inadequate and empty from within. They want to be loved and cared for. They feel like living without their partner is impossible for them. Emotionally dependent relationships are unhealthy. They bring in a vicious circle of emotional responses of guilt, fear, sadness, personal abandonment, and self-blame.